All right, everybody, welcome to the first buddy read of the Dark Tower.
Hi,
We
everyone.
are we are going to be going over the Gunslinger, book one of the Dark Tower, of course, and discussing it. And this is going to be full spoilers and everything. So if you haven't read it, you might halfway pay attention, but don't leave just because Scott's not the best looking guy in the room.
I'm
But
not.
other than that,
That's a
how are y'all
spoiler.
doing tonight, fellas? That's a spoiler. That's right.
We'll say full spoilers for this book only. We won't
Yeah.
spoil anything for further in the series. So,
Yes. So I have not read beyond this. Rowdy has not read beyond this, but Brian has finished the series.
Yes. So he has to stay super vague through all of it. So I guess we can get started however we want to do this. Just so everybody knows, in my opinion, I'm going to read the first sentence of this book, which is probably most people would say the best first sentence of any book ever, at least top three or four for fantasy wise, for sure. So the man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed. I don't know what it is, but that's pretty great.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes. So where do y'all want to start at?
Well, we can just start right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we had. That was the first thing I wrote down in my storygraph notes was that quote. I think, like, if you're a King fan, that kind of sticks out and you kind of recognize it instantly, you know?
It's been widely discussed at this point. Yeah. So,
So one of my first thoughts was that I like that this world is based on our world. You know, it's not like a completely made up fantasy world. The remnants of old Earth exist within this world, and we kind of see different technologies from beginning to end that he happens to stumble upon, and he kind of knows some of this technology stuff, but he doesn't understand, how everything works.
yes, that's very interesting. When you start out fresh in this book, it feels like it has very much the trappings of just typical Western. You have this almost cowboy type figure, or just Western hero in general. But then these more fantastical elements start to creep in. This man in black he's chasing seems to be almost like a wizard of some kind. Then you find out that this cowboy type guy seems to have kind of some knight like characteristics. And like you said, before long, we start to see remnants of an older civilization. And they're even singing the Beatles song, Hey Jude. So you say, okay, there's something much more than your standard Western going on here. And you'll see as the book goes on, there's just a lot of genres being brought into this. So,
Yeah. Hey Jude gets mentioned multiple times in this book
yeah.
at random thing, just random times.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think's pretty interesting on how it's kind of like obviously it's a deserted land pretty much, but there's always just a hint of a modern time type deal going on.
Mm-hmm.
Just ever so slightly. It's nothing
Yeah.
crazy, just a little bit. And that's where I think to me, it kind of throws me for a loop. When it's like, okay, I'm trying to get into this fantasy type world, but yet there's always a tinge of modern day type stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like as you get a sense that it's kind of post apocalyptic, there's been some kind of advanced civilization that has collapsed, but you also get a flavor of another, I would argue it's a separate genre, maybe it's subgenres closer to the mark, that I like called the Dying Earth, which is just a setting that's kind of winding down to its natural death. It might be like the Earth at a time when the sun's about to exhaust its fuel or something like that. Jacques Vance was famous for writing about dying Earth setting, and of course, Gene Wolfe's Book of the New Sun is my opinion where it was perfected. But yeah, you kind of get both with King. There's kind of that hint of something post-apocalyptic going on, but also this setting's just kind of winding down to its natural end as well. So you'll find out a lot more about both as this goes on. So
Yeah, and some of the technology still works. So, you
mhm.
know, throughout the book, you're a little fuzzy on why some things still run and some things don't. I think towards the end there was some reference to like nuclear technology or some
Yes,
corporation,
definitely. Mhm.
and so we're kind of hinting that that's going to play later in the series, or that company or something like that.
Oh, what are they called?
I don't.
Northern Positronics, or I should remember, but yeah,
Right.
it's something Positronics. You'll see stamped all over all the technology, whether it's still functioning or not. So yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of begin with our hero Roland
Hmm.
out in the desert with his mule, and I've had one of my notes was I got some sympathy for these mules that are in this desert, because he's a man on a mission going after the man in black, and
Yeah,
uh, yeah, these poor
desert is not
beasts.
a good setting for that mule. No.
No, these poor beasts of burden are really they don't, they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if this was going to be, you know, we read Lonesome Dove and their horses were their lives. That's without your horse, you're dead. And
Hmm.
so I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if we were entering this territory. Like, is this guy going to have a great relationship with his mule, or
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, a raven is eating its eyes.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that really grabbed me the first time I read this book, even back when I was a teenager, is that King did this really interesting thing with the structure. When we very first see Roland, he is alone. He doesn't have the mule or anything. It's just him chasing the man in black. Then from there, it kind of flashes back to where he's first coming to the edge of the desert, and he meets this settler out there on the edge. What was his name? Brown or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's where he still has the mule that's, kind of coming to the end of its life. And yeah, it ends up dying while he's there. But then while he's there with Brown, he tells a story which flashes us even further back to what happens at this town. And then at the end of that, we flash back to where we started off at the very beginning with Roland alone in the desert. So you get kind of this Russian nesting doll structure, I guess, where, yeah, we start off with Roland.
It's a good way to put it. Do you want
Yeah.
to pop up the chat? I think we got some people asking questions here.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's see. Mark asked how many books are in the series, and there's 8. And then he said, "Are any of them long?" And a couple of them are. Let's say, looks like the 4th book and the last book are the 2 longest ones.
Three,
But I don't.
yeah. 3, 4, 5, and 7 are all pretty hefty.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are 1,000 pages though, so it's nothing insane like that.
Yeah.
Like more like maybe 700-800, probably
Mhm.
800ish. So nothing insane. It ain't no Brando Sando or nothing like that. So,
No, the first one's just over 300 pages.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's slim. Yeah.
and it flies by.
It
That's
does.
the one thing that it's like I've told these guys. This is the weirdest, best 4-star book I think I've ever read. It is so interesting and weird, and just like there's just something that's constantly going on that just keeps you engaged the whole time on just
Yeah.
like, a weird comment or something weird kind of happens, and the story just goes,
Yeah.
and it's a quick read in my
Mhm.
opinion. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about these long journey kind of books where somebody's crossing snow, a desert, an
Mhm.
ocean. But as far as this one goes, it goes by quick. So
It
if
does.
you're reading it, you know, you don't feel like, oh, I'm just stuck in the desert with this guy and things are, you know, there's enough movement, flashbacks,
Yeah.
you know, call them the way it's split up to where you just don't feel like you're out in the desert for 300 pages, you know,
Right.
looking
Right.
for water.
I've read enough fantasy to know whenever someone is going to be okay, let's spend 300 or 400 pages of us going through this forest and having a journey like that. And to me, that can be so boring because very little happens and it just drags. This is not like that. Like stuff
Okay.
happens for me. I thought it was so good. It kept the pace, which is big for me. I don't like really slow books, and this is
Right.
not. It's just interesting enough to keep you rolling along the whole time.
Yeah. Do,
So, go ahead.
well, do we just want to talk a little bit about Roland here before we move on? He is, as far as we know, the last gunslinger.
Hmm.
So do we kind of just want to explain, like, because we kind of learn about how he became a gunslinger and the way he grew up. So we just give a little background because we don't learn that until later on in the book, but it'd be helpful just to clarify that.
Yeah.
What was the name of the town he grew up in? Toll?
New Gilead or something like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Toll was the town that he was staying in, I think.
Yeah. That's the
Okay.
village. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so it's kind of an interesting thing where they take these boys and they kind of have this man at arms type guy who basically puts them through the paces of being a disciplined warrior, a gunslinger. You know, it's not for the faint of heart. You're going to get slapped around, kicked in the ribs. It's basically military training. And
Yeah.
they're kind of weeding out, you know, the non-hackers, so to speak.
Yeah. King, of course, gives it the more Western flavor with the guns and everything, but his home of New Gilead, it's almost more like a medieval feudal type setting where these kids, their fathers are kind of like knights, you know, the military men or law enforcers, and their sons are kind of raised to be their successors. So, yeah, they're put through education and physical training, as you pointed out.
And get beat down a lot.
They do.
There's what it
Yes.
seems. Because they're like their trainer, I guess, is basically they have to defeat him to
Mhm.
become a gunslinger.
One-on-one combat. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you defeat him, and then it's not. I don't want to go too far into the weeds with the other books, but Roland basically inherits his father's guns. Is that
Eventually, yes.
okay? So you get to
After they defeat if they defeat their teacher, they kind of spend time as what they call an apprentice gunslinger.
okay,
And usually after they've completed that, they inherit their father's guns. Yeah.
okay,
Because I don't think in the beginning, whenever he defeated him, he didn't want his guns, right? They were like too heavy for him or something. So they ended up, didn't he get his own or make his own or something?
He was given like lighter ones, I guess, because his father is still young enough that
Yeah,
he's using.
still.
I get the impression they're basically handed over when their father retires or dies or
Yes.
whatever
Yeah.
happens there. But
okay. Do we want to set up this fight? Because this is one of my favorite parts of the book.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you have to challenge, you have to defeat him in combat, and you choose the weapons, right?
Yes. You choose the weapons and he can counter. Basically, you have to tell him what you're going to use and then he can choose whatever it is.
No,
against-
you don't have to tell the students. Don't have to tell him. I mean, he has to tell the students, but the students are allowed to bring whatever they want. So yeah,
And so the guy, he uses like a spear type weapon, right?
it's like I get the impression it's almost like a wooden staff that's encased in metal of some kind. Yeah.
Right. And so the purpose isn't to kill, it's to defeat. I mean,
That
you
is the
can,
purpose, but it happens sometimes,
right,
evidently.
right. So before that, there's this hawk, right? And
Yeah.
we're introduced to this bird, and I guess
They're taught falconry, basically, and that's where
right.
this came from. Yeah.
And so the thing about falcons is they don't like their handlers. They're just something that's there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you tell me what to do. I'll go kill a rabbit. I'll go attack somebody. And so Roland, which I liked, he looked at this, and basically he was able to establish a sort of friendship and understanding with this old bird.
He basically
And
treated it like a pet. Yeah.
right, right. And so his, I forget the guy's name. We'll just say man at
Court.
arms. Court.
Court. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
CORT.
Because it's the same guy from the same name from who's our one guy who you interviewed him, Rowdy, your first interview.
Oh, Dave Lawson.
Yes.
Yeah,
Same,
Court.
same name. Same
Pawns of
character.
Havoc. Yeah.
So what I liked about this was, you know, he befriends this bird, he wins its trust, and it never occurred to anybody else that you could do this, and then it would make a special relationship where this bird would trust you in combat.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going out there to fight Court. This bird comes in and basically does some slicing and dicing on Court's face, and he's able to.
His friends, Roland's friends, see him coming with the bird, and they're like, "What are you doing? You know what?
Yeah.
They're not expecting this bird to, attack at will like this."
Yeah, the bird had basically been put out to pasture at that
Mhm.
point. You know, it was old, and
You get the impression Court wasn't expecting it until like at the last second he thought, "Oh,
right,
then it was too late."
because he wasn't 100% sure that this bird was going to follow through. You know,
He kind of saw what was happening, but at that point, it was already sinking its talons into his eyes. So,
Because didn't he already, like, before he even went out to fight him, he was like, all right, basically one of us is going to die, me or the bird, whatever. What is the bird's name?
oh, David.
Yeah. David. Yeah. He's like, one of us is dead pretty much.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting, like, because it seemed like they didn't really care for each other, but
that's a very important character trait of Roland, that he is willing to sacrifice friends and companions in the interest of a goal, and there will be that will be a parallel to something that happens later. So.
There's some foreshadowing there.
Yes, very much so.
He spent all this time winning over this bird's
what's up, Josh?
love. Hello, Josh. What's going
Hey,
on?
Josh.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's able to defeat Court, and he basically becomes a gunslinger. He enjoys. I just remember he enjoyed a night in town.
Oh
with
yeah,
the ladies.
Yeah, with the ladies.
Yeah. So he's officially a gunslinger, and his friends are pretty impressed.
Now, wasn't he was 14? Is that right?
14. Yes,
14, because Cork was talking about how he's the youngest ever to do it, and that he did it 2 years earlier than his father.
His father was 16, and he had been the youngest before.
Well, he basically tried to talk him out of it, like,
he's
come back in 2 years.
Court's almost begging him, don't do it yet,
Yeah. And to be honest, the only reason he was able to do it is because of the bird. Like, if we're led to believe that any other scenario, he wouldn't have been able to defeat him. So he's like, you know what? Oh, and if you lose, then you're banished from town.
Yeah, you're just out of here.
Yeah. So it's that was probably one of my favorite parts, because there was such high stakes. He had to use some wits with this, and I think we had talked about it. I'll read some quotes later, but Roland is described as unimaginative, which I like in a hero.
Yeah, straight to the point.
Yeah.
We got Josh said he plans on reading the Gunslinger in July. Very good.
Think you'll enjoy it. Yeah.
Western sports never die out. That's right.
It's not the only time he enjoys a good sporting
yes
activity.
I heard it's very polarizing. I think it's you're gonna love it or hate it type deal. And Josh, you probably love it, knowing you. I know a little of your taste, and you'll like it.
This is actually my favorite book of the series.
That's what everybody says. Yeah. So it's all downhill after this then for us.
Yay.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's a huge fall off, but yeah, when I look back on it, it's just the fact this one's so concise and it just grabbed me. I was always trying to figure out what's going on with this. Just have the most positive memories of this one, I guess.
Uh-oh. Who's this? Dustin Neely. Yep.
Dustin, are you agreeing that this is the best in the series? Because I think he's said that before.
Downhill from here. That's right. But yeah, that battle was really cool. That fight scene was, and then he gets his guns, and then kind of fast forward into
this is all just kind of giving Roland's background. We kind of need to go back to the desert and talk about the plot of the book.
Yeah, so we kind of know our guy here. You know that he's, even though, here, I'll read this quote here. The lack of imagination that still remained in that face was remarkable. This is years later. So, years later, he's still basically the same guy he was at 14, just a little more hardened, battle worn.
Does he have I don't know how I say this, like, I don't want to say like spiritual power, but some type of power with like luck as well? Like the Man in Black is mysterious and can manipulate and do all that, but it seems like Roland's always landing on his feet nearly. Anything that goes wrong, he nearly can predict it because he's constantly saying, this is a trap, and but can find a way out of everything.
I'll say that for all they say he's unimaginative, he does sometimes seem to have these kind of keen flashes of intuition or insight about a situation.
Yeah.
But I don't get the impression that it's supernatural necessarily.
What are you thinking, Scott?
Oh, I was trying to find that other unimaginative quote. I was kind of stuck on that for a little bit, because usually when you have like this, like gunslingers and superheroes and these guys who can just do all this stuff, they don't describe them as kind of being a little bit on the dull side, and actually his lack of, I think me and Bryan had discussed it, his lack of imagination is actually kind of like a superpower for him a little bit.
I think the way, actually it's Court that describes it. It's not that Roland can't be innovative. I mean, sometimes he can be creative in the way he approaches a problem that he needs to solve, but I think the lack of imagination is just when he gets fixated on a goal. I think Court says you'll walk to the ends of the earth, nothing will stop you, and it's going to make you miserable, basically. I think that's the lack of imagination. He's just not going to be distracted by anything.
It's almost like everybody's his pawn just to get to the Man in Black.
Exactly.
Like everybody is expendable, no matter what. And then he's even told multiple times, you'll never catch him. You'll never catch him. And he's like, yes, I will. Yes, I will.
Yeah. And this was the, when somebody's talking to him, you're slow, plodding, but you have a tenacious mind. So
exactly. Yeah.
Kind of, he's slow, plodding, but absolutely like tenacious. Kind of like you see like a Michael Jordan. It's like somebody who won't be denied, can take it into their own hands and just do it.
It's like he has no imagination for how this could go wrong and how this could make him miserable. He's just fixated on that goal, and that's all that matters. Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So where do we want to go from Roland?
Well, okay. Well, so we open up with him crossing the desert alone, and we flash back to when he's on the edge of the desert, and he meets these. Most of them are kind of crazy, but these kind of hut dwellers out on the edge of the desert. But one of them's kind of clear-minded, and he stays with the guy for the night, and they share a meal and everything. And he ends up telling this guy a story about a trap, quote unquote, that the man in black left for him in the village of Toll that is now dead, essentially. So then we get Roland's story about what happened in this village of Toll. So you want to take it from there, Scott?
So just to be clear, like we're reading this, there are different creatures in this world. Because when Faceless Jay, he reads a book, and if he comes across a word or something, he doesn't look it up. He just keeps going. And so I'm constantly looking up words I don't know, and King uses a lot of words that I didn't know. So I had to look these words up, and it takes me to the Gunslinger Wikipedia with oh, this is a creature. This, so they're just kind of casual. Things are just kind of casually mentioned, especially like going into that town. So I was looking up, some of these people have, what do you call like half where the bottom is a goat or something like that. Like the caretaker of
does
the
he
horses.
Does he use terms like tahine and some things are just, you get the impression they're mutants, probably from nuclear fallout, and they still haven't, their genetic lines are still kind of messed up. But the thing is, King, a lot of these creatures you'll be seeing more in later books. King came back and revised the Gunslinger to make it kind of more consistent with the books he wrote later. So he includes the names of some of these creatures and so forth that appear in later books. Okay. They're not really all that relevant at this point, but
it's kind of, so I felt like, am I missing out on something when he's, especially when he's heading into this town?
Yeah.
But he heads into this town. Everything's kind of weird and, it kind of dead, so we're getting a real flavor of what this world is like.
It's like a Western village from a movie, but weird. And King talked about how one of his inspirations was the experience of seeing the good and the bad and the ugly on mescaline. So yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Right. So he goes to this, he checks in his mule, take care of it. And then he goes to this bar where this lady, I think her name was Alice.
Yeah. Allie, yeah, something like that.
Something like, and so she runs this bar. And the funny thing about like King, when he describes, like when he's describing her, it's like, okay, she could have been pretty at one time. She's got a big scar.
Yeah.
And then, but she's not attractive now. But then later on, she seems a little more attractive because Roland, has been getting busy with her, basically trading information, for some sporting good stuff, using coded language there. Oh, one of the things I thought was funny when he went in and he wanted hamburger, and she said it's from, I think, good stock or something like that. This is like, because most cows,
meaning not mutated, supposedly.
Right. So, but cows have two heads and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't think it's from good stock, but I'm starving,
He even made a big deal about him getting three hamburgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And he's like, no buns though.
Yeah.
And he's getting the stink eye from everyone else in the bar because evidently, being able to eat that much meat's very rare. Most people don't have that much money, so.
Yeah, and he's always, giving somebody a gold piece, and they always say, "Well, I don't have change for that," and he just says, "Keep
whatever."
The change." Well, so he's in town, and he knows. Okay, the man in black's probably been here. I need to get some information, and she's really reluctant to give information. And we also have our our dead guy, I forget the weed that they describe that people eat, and
Devil's grass.
devil's grass. Yeah. This guy's been eating devil grass. And so I don't know if you want to talk about like his resurrection
Yeah,
and
he
that sort of stuff. It plays a important
this
part here.
guy stumbles into the bar, and everybody immediately starts getting nervous, and he's got like the devil's grass slobber over his face and everything, and Roland's trying to figure out what's going on with this guy, and Allie eventually tells him about how the Men in Black has been through town, and this guy had died, and the Men in Black resurrected him. That's why everybody's kind of freaked out by him now when he comes stumbling in there. And it's interesting because when you read the account of this resurrection, it's really kind of creepy, but it draws on some different biblical motifs, descriptions of miracles in the Bible, which actually kind of is interesting with how this story in this village plays out. So, but yeah, we've got our resurrected guy here, and Roland figures out, okay, the Man in Black set some kind of trap for me here, but instead of getting out of Dodge, he decides he'll hang around, I guess, hoping he can get information. I don't know. That's
Yeah. Well, that Sunday there's a church service.
yes.
And
Yeah.
a lady who has been kind of described her as big, white, milky, you know. And
She's like your serpent riding preacher, I guess, kind of very apocalyptic bent.
yeah, and the town's just, most of the town is just enraptured by what she's saying.
Mhm.
And so I think at that point we're kind of seeing that, okay, the Man in Black has touched her. She's spreading the word. You know, I don't know if it's necessarily like she's infecting them, but she's certainly
He
like,
touched her, all right.
yeah, yeah. Oh, he touched her. The Man in Black touched her,
Yeah.
and then Roland touched her, and she said, "Don't touch me." And she
And Roland's guns evidently are multi-purpose.
Yes. There's a lot of, there was some colorful language.
Yeah. What does she call
use.
whenever she's doing her sermon? Basically, what does she call about the person that's there that is not one of them, which he picks up on? I can't think of the word that she uses. That what she calls him.
Well, she's going on about the Antichrist or the interloper or something like
The interloper. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the interloper. And he's like, he knows he's the interloper. You know,
Yeah.
where she's trying to like not just straight up say it's him. You know.
But anyway, we find out that she's carrying most likely a demon child fathered by, or at least fathered through some kind of weird intercession from the Man in Black. And Roland kind of does a really weird OBGYN thing to put an end to this pregnancy
Yeah, yeah.
involving his guns. Yeah.
It's like, like King's imagination, I guess, you're in this town, and it's like, well, okay, that took a little bit of a turn there.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of like King. He'll throw these weird surprises in at you.
But anyway, that's this point. I guess she kind of ranted at him about the Man in Black and what lies on the other side of the desert and all this. And Roland thinks that he's gotten the information he's going to get, so he's ready to get out of town, but not so fast. She's convinced everybody in town that he's nearly everybody in town, that he's the Antichrist, interloper, whatever. And yeah, they all attack, and it doesn't go so well for them.
Yeah. Now, this was a part I was looking forward to because I'm just going through our notes here. Rowdy, did you watch the movie too?
Yes.
Right. So we all watched it after we read the book. Like the gun parts with in the movie, you know, with him shooting and just being a dead shot. I wanted to know if that was going to be in this. And so basically, he shot. I forget what they said. 60 bullets or so, and he only missed one shot
Yeah.
during that. So he's a dead on shot. So it takes a lot for him to miss. But he basically he wipes out the entire town.
And they talk about how he can reload with almost superhuman speed and all this. Yeah.
Right.
That's like the only thing they got right in the movie was him reloading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
you know. So that I was like, okay, let's give me some good action like that. And so that was a nice action-packed scene with him. I mean, he took out women and children, his best gal, everything. Yeah.
That was interesting with her. We kind of skipped over that about what the man in black told her about all you have to do is say 19.
Yeah. To the guy we talked about that had been dead, that he'd resurrected, he had told Allie that if she said the word 19 to this guy, that he would reveal some kind of strange secret to her, and evidently curiosity finally overcame her, and evidently she found out something she wished she didn't know because she's begging Roland to kill her, and he obliges her.
Yeah. He takes a beating and all that, even though he hit or killed 60 people or however many it was. Like they get him pretty good.
Yeah, they've all got, knives and clubs. I mean, they're beating on him, but
What was it? Was it a little kid or something that he killed? Whatever, like stabbed him in the knee or in the leg with a fork or something.
Yeah, something like that.
This was like a really good, you have people like in all the old West shows, people going through glass windows and, chairs flying. So it was really a good old West shootout. Unfortunately, the whole town had to pay, but he wrote it really well. Really, really good action.
And I guess, the entire town's been wiped out, and as the storm's rolling in and he's leaving with his mule, I guess the resurrected devil grass eater Nort was his name. Nort was his name. I guess he'd been crucified or something.
Yeah.
So they got rid of him too. So then we returned to Roland in the desert. So and we move forward from there.
Yeah. So he leaves Brown's place, the little hut, and then the next stop is at the way station.
Yeah. He's been in the desert. We're not sure how long really. And he comes to this it's still standing, but evidently at one time it had been kind of a way station for travelers that were crossing here. So there's still an operating pump and everything. So, yeah.
And he's on death's door. He's out of water. He's just going on pure adrenaline and whatever's left in him. And he just, before he faints, he sees what he thinks maybe the man in black. He has his gun drawn, but it turns out it's a little boy.
Yeah.
A blonde haired little boy named Jake.
So he passes out from heat stroke or whatever, and I guess he got a little bit of water first, but Jake kind of drags him into the shade and takes care of him, and find out Jake evidently he does this Roland does this interesting thing. I've seen people do it in movies before. He kind of dances a bullet across the back of his fingers. He does that to hypnotize Jake. And while Jake's under, we find out that he was evidently from our world, or at least New York City
Right.
of 1977, I think.
Yes.
And he was killed there and showed up here. So he doesn't have any memory of how he got here, but no conscious memory anyway. But
Right. And the longer that, because he's only been here like a few weeks,
mhm.
uh, but the longer he's here, the more memories he's losing. He's
Yeah,
losing.
yeah, you get the vibe you might remember more at first,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Because he'll remember something like, oh, this was for this, or this was this, but I don't know what you used it for. Just little
hmm,
stuff like that they stumble upon. But this is another thing I like about Roland. When he was with that guy in the hut, he said, if you want some water, I have a well. You can go down in there and get it. And so he goes down in the well. And so Roland is thinking, I'm in a very vulnerable position. This guy could drop a rock on me at any time.
hmm,
He could kill me, but I got to get this water. And I'll trust my instincts that, if he wanted to do something, he could have done it by then. But
hmm,
it's always little things like that. When he's in the way station, he goes down into the basement to get some canned food, and he's always got a plan,
yeah,
hey, if something happens to me, you do this. So he is always thinking ahead of time, danger is always present, but he's always got a little
yeah.
bit of a plan, and that's what I like about him.
And we get the Jake is actually pretty sharp too, because when you ask him about the basement, Jake said, "No, I never went down there because if something happened with the ladder, I'd have been stuck down there." And
Hmm.
yeah,
Well, I think that's our first introduced. When he's down there, we're introduced to something. Something comes through the wall, and that's where he
yeah,
gets the
it's
jawbone.
yeah, it's kind of like a oracle of some kind. I don't know if it's a demon or what, but
But who was it supposed to be? Was it Alice telling him taking over a body? It was
I, I,
somebody,
I I think he hears Allie's voice. I mean,
right?
whether this entity was just using something from his mind, I don't know, but
So he's able to grab this jawbone. He gets some canned food, and so we know that kind of gives us a hint that if you some things can predict the future or show
mhm,
you visions,
mhm,
because I'm still not like sure what this whole world
yeah.
is made of.
And Roland just seems to, yeah, this is just part of it. I'm used to dealing with this sort of thing.
It's also very weird to me how like multiple people can't keep up with time because time's so weird there. Like I know the boy
Yes.
was said that Jake did, and then there was another guy where he's like, "How long did it take when the Man in Black had went through?" And he's like, "I don't know. It could be a week. It could be 2 months. He
Yeah.
just doesn't
Yeah.
know. His
You'll
time's
get
so off."
you'll get more of that in later books. Basically, Merlin's world, like I said, everything's kind of winding down to its natural end, and even time is starting to get kind of wonky.
So those two, skipping ahead, they managed to make it. This is where, okay, I've had enough of the desert. This is where he knows, like, we need a change of scenery.
Hmm.
And so finally we get some mountain goodness, some fresh air,
Yeah,
water,
yeah,
so he didn't stick on that whole, let's be on a desert for, 300 pages.
yeah.
They
We're
make it
going.
up.
Yeah, we're going towards these mountains, but we get these foothills that are kind of grassy and forested. So yeah, it's really welcome change from the desert.
Now the man in black is only like a day ahead. Sometimes they can actually see him.
Hmm.
And so we're kind of led to believe that the man in black is staying just far enough to, you know, come on.
Almost,
Keep,
yeah, almost
yeah,
teasing him. Yeah.
yeah. And so this was a good part in our little discussion here. Uh, there's a demon succubus. Is that
Yeah, it's a
basically what it
succubus. Yeah.
in the mountain?
Hmm.
And she almost gets Jake. He wanders off. Roland's able to get him. He gives him the jawbone. Tells him, if anything comes for you, use this. And so he goes to meet up with her, but because he wants her ability to see the future and give him some visions here. So he takes, what drug does he take? What is it? Do we think it's peyote or,
It's some kind of hallucinogen. I mean, yeah.
So he's got a pill, I guess, and that helps him get into the state, and he meets this succubus, and they have this back and forth. It's kind of fun, and he's got to trade his sportingness. That's code
his body,
for this information, but he can only give so much because she'll basically drain him dry, kill him.
Well, yeah, that was a big question I had. You got the impression that this was a very dangerous thing to do. I mean, sporting, like you said, but just psychologically, this was a dangerous thing to do. She could easily take over you and drive you insane and eventually kill you and all this. And you get the impression that this isn't the sort of thing that you would just wander into trial and error and just attempt. You wonder, did Court have some really awkward courses at some point on how to deal with a succubus?
I think it also has to deal with like the pill he takes too is supposed to make him like hyper focused. I think.
Yeah, probably
is what it said. So maybe it keeps him just close enough to where he doesn't go insane, that he can pull himself out. Maybe I don't know.
But yeah, you get the vibe. It's a dangerous thing to play around with, so to speak.
Well, he does get information from her. I don't even remember what it was. It was your destination is with the man in black and something. I don't. It was kind of vague.
She tells him that he'll catch the man in black, and actually she tells him a lot of the same stuff the man in black tells him. And when he finally decides that he's gotten all that he's going to get, he says, all right, take what you want. What does he call her? Slut of the winds or something like that.
It's something like that. Yeah.
So he lets her have her way for a while and then gets out of there. So.
Oh, me.
Good stuff. So, they're in the mountain, and so another change of scenery. They finally meet up with the man in black, like at a waterfall kind of area, and he basically tells them, "Come on and follow me if you want to know something." And he disappears.
He says, "We'll meet on the other side, but it'll just be you and me, Gunslinger."
Right. Yeah. And Jake, at this point, this is where he knows, like, you'll just let me die. If I go in there, you're just going to kill me. Yeah. Of course, he can't stay out there because he's by himself. So, he's got to follow him. But Jake knows, like, no, you would easily give me up to follow this guy.
Yeah.
Is that whenever they go into the tunnel and then they find the railroad cart type deal?
Yeah.
And then fight the mutants.
There are mutants, and there's this railroad, and there's even kind of a subterranean city type setup. But
well, that's where the nuclear power, that company, because it's still running.
Yeah, this is. Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Lucas? How's it going? Ro, what's up, man? How are you? With a Captain Ahab in him.
Very much so.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. But while we're traipsing through the dark here, and Jake knows that, at least if the man in black's be trusted, that he's probably not going to emerge from these tunnels alive. This is when Roland tells Jake about the backstory we talked about earlier about his past and how he became a gunslinger and sacrificing his falcon and all this. It's like, oh, great thing to tell the kid, Roland. Yeah, I've sacrificed friends before. It will be nothing to do it again, kid.
That's where the unimaginative part comes in.
Yeah.
What's up, EL? Yeah, because he even questions him. Jake questions him multiple times about how he's just going to leave him to die, basically. And and Roland, I think, even mentions like a little bit earlier in it where he almost like he's fallen for, like, he loves the boy nearly. Like
he said that, I love this boy. I know now that I love this boy.
Yeah, and was even thinking about trying to train him to be a gunslinger, even though he knew it would take years and years to do.
Well, part of that's probably simply that Roland's been traveling essentially alone for so long. I mean, he has the occasional sport with Allie or whoever, but yeah, he's really been wandering alone for many, many years. And you get that Jake, this will come in more later, but I think he mentions it, that Jake actually reminds him a lot of one of his friends in particular from when he was younger. So, yeah.
What are the mutants called?
I think he just calls them the slow mutants.
The slow mutants, yeah.
Yeah.
They're basically, if you've read the Time Machine, they're basically kind of like the Morlocks.
Morlocks, yeah.
Because King, I always put my King references down. I was looking them up here. King references the Morlocks in the Time Machine a lot. So I think this is his version of underground blind dwellers, basically.
I also, during this, very much got a vibe of the Mines of Moria and Bridge of Khazad-dûm chapters from Lord of the Rings. Especially the way it ends. But
Rowdy's getting ready to start The Hobbit.
I am. That starts a couple weeks. So,
and you haven't read LOTR?
No. Now I've watched the movies a bunch,
Same.
but no, I've never read Lord of the Rings.
I've only read The Hobbit.
No. Hobbit is first. So, but yeah, so they stay in this tunnel for days, or is that not right? Like
it's like over a week, I think.
Yeah, multiple days.
Because they were talking for a long time,
Yeah, because whenever they finally do think they see light, it ends up being something else that's like reflected, or I forgot how it was, but that wasn't the actual get out place at that time. And they had to keep going.
I forgot. Was there some kind of artificial light functioning at some point in there?
Something.
When they went into it was basically they hit like a subway landing area, and so that was still powered up because they had
Yeah, that's right.
Stuff working. They had there were all these like policeman type guards that are basically like turned to dust, but their uniforms are still present. So it's kind of implied that something heavy went down, during this time.
Yeah. Because I remember at first they're basically just striking matches to be able to see for a few seconds. But yeah, I thought eventually they got some kind of light source. But
yeah, and so they eventually do see an actual exit, but the man in black is there.
Well, yeah, it's basically this old railroad track crosses a rotten old trellis with a lot of gaps in it, and as they're making their way across this, Jake kind of takes a bit of a spill and is holding on, and Roland's about to grab him, but then the man in black shows up at the end of the tunnel and says, "Yeah, come get me now, Gunslinger, or you'll never catch me." So what's Roland do? He lets the kid fall.
But
the kid says something very important before he does. He says, "Go then, there are other worlds than these." So that will play big in future volumes.
That was one of my biggest question marks, is how he's been in this story for a couple hundred pages or whatever. And I'm like, surely to goodness he doesn't just die now, and it isn't brought back in some way later on. Now, maybe that's the case. I don't know, but
I don't want to say anything, but
yeah, it just seems like, okay, you're just putting him out of the way for this part of the story.
Main thing here is that Roland's made an even bigger sacrifice to achieve his goal, and all at the say so of this man in black who doesn't seem particularly trustworthy anyway. So, yeah.
So, and then basically the last so many pages is kind of like where we're at. To me, just felt like, let's just sit down and just lay it all out for you. This
Yeah.
is what you've got to do. This is what's going to happen with me. And that's kind of how the book ends in a way.
Yeah, he does try to shoot him. But
Yeah.
the man in black,
basically-
he just, yeah, this is where, like, you don't know, like, does he have godlike powers?
Mhm.
Why is he walking why is he walking through the desert, you know? So is this part of like a bigger prophecy that he has to fulfill his part, you know? So I think that's kind of the stuff we're led to here.
Because does the man in black not mention something like, I forgot how he puts it, but it's something like, why are you trying to shoot me? You can't hurt me just like you couldn't hurt yourself or something. I forgot what it is, but it's almost like they're interconnected to where if you hurt me, you would just hurt yourself type deal. I don't know. But I also thought it was interesting I don't know if King does this with every book that he has in this series, but he did mention the drawing of the three a couple of times. Or, the three or the drawing, stuff like that. That is, which is book 2.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I like when he first emerges from the tunnel and the man in black says something about, I'm just thinking about you and your Isaac, which is another biblical reference, which is interesting because Abraham didn't actually end up sacrificing Isaac. But, at that point, Gunslinger tries to shoot the man in black, like you said, and man in black basically just laughs and says, what are you doing? Come on. And I think he has a fire and he offers him some rabbits or something, and Roland's not going to take food from this guy. And
he pulls a rabbit from his jacket, you know. And so Roland cooks it and it's all nice and juicy, and then he just hands it over to the man in black and he's like, I'm not eating anything from you.
No, but he will take the smokes though.
Yeah.
And then the man in black has a ton of literary references. Castle Rock. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I did not know that.
And
Poor Piggy.
Yeah. See, Jake's person theories. It's over.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to say anything too much yet. I mean, that's an important line. But after the man in black eats, he has a deck of, I guess you'd call them tarot cards, basically.
Yeah.
And gives Roland I don't know if you'd call it a prophecy or just information or what, but
I think it's interesting too, after he goes through and discusses everything about that, where I'd never figured this out whenever he was doing that, but I know they talk about it in the movie. Is the Dark Tower a place that Roland is trying to go and destroy or to save? Because in the movie, he's there to try to save it, and the man in black is trying to destroy it. But it almost seems like in the book, he's going there to destroy it. But
no,
maybe I'm just crossed on, I don't know. I'm not sure.
He's definitely not trying to destroy it. What exactly, we know he's obsessed with it. He wants to get there, but what exactly he's hoping to find there is an interesting question. I don't want to say too much about yet. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's because, whenever Roland talks to the man in black about it, kind of like, the man in black is scared of who is at the Dark Tower, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
by the way, because he's like, he doesn't even want to mention like his name or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting, because if Roland can barely even catch the man in black, what's it going to be like once he finally makes it to this mysterious person in the Dark Tower or
Oh,
thing
boy.
or whatever it is?
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll find
I've
out.
really got to bite my tongue on this one.
We'll find out in 2 years.
Yeah,
when we're
2 years
done
we'll
with
know.
this.
Yeah, this is something I've really got to bite my tongue on.
Yeah, look at this. Dustin says, I don't know if Stephen King knows. I was confused by what Roland's goal
I
was. even after
agree.
the books.
I agree. I think he was almost hoping that, for lack of a better description, God would be at the top of the tower and he would get answers to all his existential
I'll figure it out
questions.
in 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years, I'll figure it out. Well, okay, so Roland, he falls asleep. And is it 10 years later, 15 years later that he wakes up?
10, I
I thought it
think.
was 10. Yeah.
10?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 10 years later, he's a little grayer. And so I guess 10 years have actually passed, or has he just aged 10 years?
I think it actually is 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, so 10 years have passed. And that's where we kind of lead off that he has to go to this town by an ocean.
He's just at the Western Sea now.
Okay,
And,
so he's at the okay.
yeah.
I guess that's kind of where like that kind of ends, and now he's on the pursuit of the three.
Yeah. That
So because
was
he
kind
has
of
to do
foretold to him by. That's where we leave off.
All right. So since that's kind of the end of the book, let's discuss a little of the movie for a second. What did y'all think about it compared to the book?
Oh no, yeah, I don't know why. You know, it's like they just take like 3 or 4 things from this book, and they're like, we'll just make up a whole story, and it'll be great, and we'll get Matthew McConaughey, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, it's not broken. You know why?
Yeah.
I think now, because that movie came out 2017. I think now people understand that you only have to deviate 25% from a King story, you know, to fit a movie, and people will go see it. You know,
The Running Man. I loved it. I've seen them both. Obviously, Arnold's my favorite one, but it was nothing like the book. Or by what I understand, I hadn't read the book, but I've watched the new one, and apparently it's supposed to be pretty similar, and it's really dang good. But this, it was awful. I mean, JR even said it was terrible.
yeah. I just even if they knew this was like a big long series, so why try to cram everything into this one movie and just make it a one and done? You know, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
Because I mean, the worst part about it is it's so far away from the book that it's it's nothing similar. Like the way, for one, you know, with Roland, his whole story's a little different than now. Maybe it's like that later on in the books. I don't know, but
They take little elements from 3, 5, 7. It's just all over the place.
okay, that makes sense. Because the movie to me is all over. I mean, I don't know. It's just so weird on how then they bring these kids in, and you know they've got hook them up to the machine, and I don't. It's just so weird.
Yeah. The one thing I did like was the part where he and Jake recite the Gunslinger's Creed, the one that ends with, "I do not kill with my gun. He who kills with his gun has forgotten the face of his father. I kill with my heart." That was kind of cool to see on screen. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say.
I
I didn't hate the Dark Tower movie. Watch it after you finish the books. Okay. Now I watched it after I finished book 1, and it doesn't make any sense. So maybe it's different after I read them all. I don't know. But
If you watch have you watched the new He-Man trailer?
yes.
So, Man at Arms in there, that's the guy that played Roland.
Hmm.
So he's basically taking a young boy from New York, putting him into this fantasy world to go after a dark, evil entity in a
Oh,
castle
really?
tower.
Yeah.
So it's basically, the Dark Tower. He's playing the same character again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That looks. I don't know how that looks, to be honest. I remember watching He-Man whenever I was a kid, and I wasn't huge into it, but I have watched quite a bit of it. But I'm curious about this movie, so we'll see.
Should we give ratings?
Sure. I guess I've already kind of said mine, so I'll just say it again. Then y'all can go. I thought it was weird and good, and probably one of the best 4-star books I've ever read, just because I was so intrigued. So I'm going to say 4
Yeah, I think
out of 5. If we need 4 out of 5.
I think I'm right there with you. I do mine on 0 to 100, and so it's about 80% for me. It makes me want to read book 2.
Yeah.
Not put off by anything. It was fun. It was a fast read. I like the lead character a lot. He didn't try to jazz him up and make him into this crazy, unstoppable force. He's got his own little things he has to work through. So, and I'm enjoying the world that he's kind of built up around it.
I'll give it 4.5.
Oh no!
Oh, look at that. Even Dustin said 4-star.
Best
In the series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's all I hear.
Hey, if they stay at 4, that's totally cool.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we can dip down to 3.25.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
And Roland's one of the coolest characters ever, in my opinion. Yeah, he is. Like I said, I'm very interested to keep reading, to see this whole journey on what it's all about, because this first book is so, I don't know, it's just so weird. I don't know why. That's all I can say, but it is. It's just a weird book that is intriguing and interesting, and crazy stuff that happened, or just, I guess, I think what gets me is just the modern elements that's thrown into a fantasy book. And that's what throws me off just a little on why it's so weird like that.
It's very much a mishmash of genres. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's the first one I've ever read that's like that, to where you get modern because I remember the first time he mentions Hey Jude in it, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's from my timeline. Like, what are we doing here? Just like, but he does it a couple of times. I'm like, okay, because even when Jake is talking about elements of like what's going on in New York City or New York, wherever he's from, and he don't even know what they are, just like random like items or whatever, that we know exactly, but he doesn't have a clue. Like it's just interesting.
And I've got to give King credit. That might be one of the reasons I like this one so much, that King actually took some risks with it, and that, his big protagonist for this long series he has planned, he's left him at the end of book 1, having just allowed an 11-year-old child to die. That's pretty nervy move. So
yeah,
I'll give him credit. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see, Dustin said, I think Robert Jordan ripped off a bunch of stuff from Dark Tower. That's probably why Stephen King hates The Wheel of Time.
Stephen King hates Wheel of Time? I didn't know that.
And knowing that you have 4,000 plus pages still to go, it's like, it's going on. Yeah, very true. Very true.
That's not all. You okay, yes. So so there's a whole bunch of King adjacent books to this. And we've all read Salem's Lot. Yep. We've all read The Stand. Yep. We've all read The Dark Tower. Now, depending on what list you're going off of, The Breathing Method.
That's a short story, right?
That's a short story.
Probably.
Have you read that?
I
I
have
have
not.
I have not, but I think it's just one particular character that probably is a crossover from that.
I've seen two or three different versions of what the expanded universe is,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them, like say, like you've got the normal 8 of the Dark Tower, and then one of them has like there's an extra like 8 or 9, and then another one there's an extra like 15. Nearly, it's like a crazy amount.
I mean, I enjoy King. I'm probably not an Annie Wilkes level super fan, but I think that the need for the extra volumes is really kind of overstated. I think you could read the main series and really have a pretty complete experience. I mean, reading the other stuff might kind of enhance some things, but
Mm.
I don't think it's completely necessary. I mean, yeah, Salem's Lot. It'd be fun to be familiar with a particular character from that, especially.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So
Insomnia. That Insomnia almost is a Dark Tower book in and of itself.
I think
Yeah,
that's what Dustin was saying. Don't need to read Insomnia till after
right.
book 6. So I've got it on the shelf. I'll wait for that then, and
And
then
The Stand. I mean, yeah, there's one character that you probably already know what character from The Stand is going to be important.
yeah.
But
One of
yeah,
the what's the dragon book? I think
the Eyes of the
the
Dragon,
Eyes
and
of the
then
Dragon. I
and then
think
the
is
Talisman
yeah,
for the
that's
from
drawing
the
of Prey.
Talisman. Yeah,
again Eyes from the Dragon. There's one character that's actually, well, I won't say it. But yeah, one character from Eyes of the Dragon. It's very important. Um,
Well, the
yeah.
breathing method is
That's-
pretty
that's
short. We
Insomnia.
can knock that one out.
yeah,
Eyes of the Dragon, that's a long book.
yeah,
And I
that's
think the
Skip it.
Talisman is long too. Skip Eyes of the
Skip
Dragon.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just say it. Yeah, there is an important character who crosses over from Eyes of the Dragon, but if you've read The Stand, you're familiar with this character. So
What about
Okay.
the Talisman?
you know
Anything
what?
with that?
I haven't read that. Is it set? Does anybody know? Is it set in the Dark Tower world?
I almost know nothing about it.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
that's
know
the
there's
one-
like two. Is there 2 books or 3 books in that series?
Yeah, I think
I
he's
think
working on the
It's
third,
like-
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
Because it's written with who's the other guy?
Peter Straub.
Peter
or
Straub.
Peter
yeah.
Schwab. Okay.
Schreiber, whatever. Yeah.
And he's not alive, right? Is Peter Schwab?
I'm
Is
not
he
sure.
dead?
I don't know.
He's a ghost story guy, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Salem's Lot, The Stand, and Insomnia tie in big time.
Yeah, I agree. Those are probably the big ones.
Mhm.
In the seventh book, I mean,
Peter Schwab.
Eyes of the Dragon. Yeah. I mean, there's some other minor ties to Eyes of the Dragon, but very minor. I mean, that one character is really the big deal.
Let's see.
There are arguably some references to it
Yeah.
in the seventh book.
Hey,
Peter.
that's what's
Peter,
coming up in 2 weeks. Yes.
Not any particular.
Peter died in 2022.
Just
Okay.
there's a certain, I'll just say, entity in book 7 that has a lot of similarities to a certain entity from it, but that's about the only connection I would really give there. And King throws in a couple names that are kind of a funny reference to it, but yeah, that's.
Okay.
I don't think it's essential.
When are you starting it?
Here within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's on my February TBR, so it's getting started pretty soon. That's a big book. I got a few big books I've got to read this month coming up, so
It's
I got to
good.
get this. Yeah,
I have
I'm
a new
terrified of
appreciation.
clowns, so
Oh.
this is going to be interesting. I know that. So
Yeah, I have a new appreciation for it after we did our Welcome to Derry. You know, at first I thought,
Yeah.
well, he could probably cut out some stuff, but all the stuff that he could have cut out, like those are like those are just too fun stories to not. You have to read them. You know, they make up the whole essence of Derry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably start it within the next 2 weeks. Try to get it done because that's my kind of goal is in between while we're doing each book, try to get at least one, if not two, of kind of some filler stuff in between to get more references and all that. So
I'm starting. Is it Dark Bloom? Molly
mhm.
McCobb. I'm starting that tonight, as soon as we're done here.
So good. I've
Uh,
mentioned it multiple times. It's the only book that's ever gave me nightmares.
do you? I just got a notification. She's going live. She's live with Josh.
Josh,
Do you know
yeah,
how to stream snipe?
I do not.
Do you know how? Can you share your screen and go to Josh's live, and
I
then
I
well,
don't know how to do that.
we could all. Oh, you go down. You're on StreamYard, right?
Yeah,
You go down to present.
present. Okay. Yeah,
Then you go to share screen,
share screen. Okay,
and then
share screen.
you'll bring up YouTube and find Josh's channel.
Window, Microsoft, select a tab.
I think it'd just be fun if we all jumped on and stream sniped him for a bit and said hi.
Mine doesn't say anything. Share screen. Just two monitors. Share screen working best on a good. I don't know. Do I need to pull up another tab to add it?
Here, I might be able to do it here.
Oh, one more book that ties in Hearts in Atlantis, especially the first story called Low Men in Yellow Coats. It actually has a pretty strong tie to the Dark Tower series.
Okay. I know. What was we had decided to? We'll go ahead and put this out there as well. Book 2, which is the drawing of the 3, which that always throws me off. Book 2 is drawing of the 3. We're gonna do the live for it around the first week of April, I think, is kind of the plan, and then we will be on Brian's channel. Is that right?
Sounds like it.
Okay. So that will be then. So that gives you plenty of time to do that. Okay. So he's up. What do I do now?
Can you present?
I
or
can add him to
stage?
stage.
Yeah, stage.
Add him to the stage.
Yeah, there we go. So we can watch him.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna. If you want to say hey, I'm gonna say hey.
Yeah. We are going live with me and Josh and Chris and Mark are going live with Molly on next Sunday or this Sunday coming up on February 1st. So we're gonna discuss her newest book, which is book 2 in the Dark Bloom series. He'll eventually see it. How are you even writing on his?
I have another tab pulled up.
Okay, so I can do that too then.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
You can mute or unmute and we can listen to him here.
Okay. People are being like, "What the heck are y'all doing? Are we not discussing the Dark Tower?"
It's just something fun to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you get these overlaps. Everybody.
Yep.
Did you get him? Oh, he's still muted.
Yep. Josh live.
Are you on your phone, Brian?
No.
Okay. He looks so serious.
There you go. Now he's muted. I got him on there now.
I would say at the end of the day, you have to be happy with what you wrote. And I think everybody can tell a story. Everybody has a different brain. Everybody has different, a different Nick and Kate, a different set of characters hanging out in their heads.
Can y'all hear that?
Different ideas, the things that people.
I
Okay.
can't hear.
Okay. I don't know. That goes in and out.
Okay.
Like it was talking and then he's off. But yeah, it's awesome. If you've not read it, like if you're fixing to start it, I think you'll love it. And then book 2 is just good. It just as good. It's totally opposite of like book 1 on what really gets you from book 1. Book 2 is just as good, but in a completely different way. Like I was telling you, blown away.
Did you
How good it
do
was.
audio?
No, I read it.
You read it? Okay.
Yeah, I read them both.
Did
I'm
you
sure we
get
talk
a,
about Dark Bloom or
Yeah, Dark
Yeah.
Bloom. Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Did you get a advance copy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then actually, did I get a? I think I got an arc from her, but then I actually won the book. And from I think Chris, her and Molly, she had somehow accidentally sent him 2, and then I won it, so I got a signed copy of it, and then she actually wrote me yesterday, and is sending me book 2, which she sent me the arc for it, and I read it, and it's so good. And but yeah, she's sending me book 2, I guess this week at some point. So, but yeah, it's fantastic. Well, me.
Brian, what are you reading before we head out here?
Working on the histories of Herodotus, which I don't know how much mass appeal that'll have, but I'm also working on American Vampire, which, yeah, let's shout that out. That's a lot of fun. Anybody out there that likes Stephen King, highly recommend it. It's a graphic novel, but if you like vampires and all kinds of crazy, iconic American settings, battling each other.
I
And
recommend it too.
Dealing
I've
with
not read it.
vengeful human hunters, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
I think it
That's
came
one
out-
thing I've never read much of is comics and graphic novels. And I don't know why, because they look awesome. And I've always been interested in them. I've just never read any of them.
I never read much of them growing up, but I've recently had people recommend some to me, and they've been very good. I'm pretty impressed, actually.
Yeah, try if you get into it, try it. I gave Brian a site to go to where you can
Yeah.
download whole volumes and omnibuses, but check out American Vampire. It's really good.
Okay. I will
And
definitely do that.
They're fast reads.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll tell you something that I just finished a couple of days ago that y'all might be interested. If you're into like superheroes or anything, JCM Burns series, the Hybrid Helix series, Wistful Ascending,
Oh, yeah.
is so good. Think of like a Superman with a conscience, I guess, that feels not like that wants to hide his past because he was something else whenever he was younger. And it's really good.
Does that take place like in the future, an alternate Earth, or?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's either, I think it's either way in the future or alternate Earth, because like most people live, like Earth still exists, but humanity is out like exploring the galaxy and stuff. Like he's on this spaceship that's like 50,000 years old or something, like, and they just get smarter. Like the AI intelligence in the spaceship is like really, really smart. And he's on it. He's just like a tugboat hauler basically. So he flies out whenever spaceships come to dock at this giant vessel. He goes out and pulls them in because he's got super strength. And then there's also space bears in it, which is really cool. Of course, who doesn't like space bears? But it's awesome, and it's right now. Book 8 and book 9 both come out this year. I don't know how many books it's going to be, but it's really good.
So, are there other superpowered people like him?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
He's a I guess you'd be a, what do they call it? I think they're called hybrids, and there's certain ways that not everybody has these powers, like very few, and normally the ones that do are like do everything that the Empire tells them to do, like they're almost brainwashed in a way, like that's how they've grown up, as to don't question anything, you do what you're told. And he somehow escapes it and tries to just live this modest, under the radar life, just trying to do his own thing. And stuff happens. And I'm assuming it just gets more crazy as books go through. But book 1 was awesome. I audiobooked it, but I'm going to buy all of them because they're that good. Like, I really loved it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, very good.
Well,
Well,
I'm
are we
starting Dark
good?
Bloom today, so.
All right.
Oh, and I finished Wuthering Heights yesterday.
Oh, did you?
How'd you like it?
Good.
Yeah.
It's certainly different from. I had no idea what it was about going in. I just assumed it was guys and basically soap opera guys and girls who fighting over love. I didn't really know much about it other than Bella from Twilight loved reading it.
Yeah. I had to read it in high school, and it was just what I called then miserable people being miserable literature. And
Yep.
I probably should give it another look. I mean, I'm sure I would look at it differently now, but
it's like a soap opera.
Yeah.
But just with really, if there's a movie coming out, because I want to do movie, I'm going to go see the movie and talk about the book when I do my review. But I probably would. This could have been a DNF if I didn't know, like a movie was coming out and stuff like that. And when because I got it I read it on a Kindle, and I got it off of Project Gutenberg. You get those free books that are out of copyright from there, so you can just download them to your Kindle. And probably the first 50, 100 pages, I thought maybe somebody just uploaded a different story and like fan fiction. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm reading the right Wuthering, because this is not what I had in mind for it. But it turned out it was I was like, well, I'm already 50 pages into it. I go, what are the chances of this just being fan fiction? Somebody, But it was the book. But when I was reading it, because it was the first like 50 pages, they're kind of humorous, tongue-in-cheek stuff, And so I was like, well, all right.
That's interesting. I am, like I said, I just finished that. I'm almost done with Spider from Janelle Shiki, horror novel. It's 100 pages. I'm taking my sweet little time with it and reading like 2 chapters a night, and I'll be done. I've got to have a review out by February 10th, and I'm like 30 pages away. It's really good. And then, I'm going to start The Hobbit and It and Lightbringer, which is book 6, and Red Rising this month as well. Waiting on Red God at some point this year to finish that. Oh, it's so dang good. I love that series so much.
Is that Red? You're talking about Red Rising?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Lightbringer is the last book that's out right now. It's book 6.
I'm listening to, the TV show Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm listening to the first book in that Darkly Dreaming Dexter, and I had started Red Rising, but I couldn't listen to it on audio. It was just a little too complicated, because I don't do a lot of Audible books, but my son has an account. But with Dexter, it's just him talking to you. So it's so easy.
Oh, really?
It's just like, I woke up today and, I don't have feelings and stuff,
Wow.
stuff like that. And so it's like, well, this is super easy to listen to because it's just a guy telling you about his day and, he's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm
Yeah.
curious about that Dark Bloom. It seems like a lot of people are reading that this year.
It's really good. It's
Yeah.
got laughing zombie kids in it. They're super creepy, but I'm not kidding. It is the love story in this is the thing that will blow your mind. That's so good.
I
And I know that sounds crazy, zombie horror book, but it's a love story.
I haven't heard a bad thing about it. And
No.
Jay liked it too, and he just praised it up and down too. So I think if it's one of those books where it just kept getting recommended by everybody that's like in our circle. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
I'm hearing the new Joe Hill one just praised everywhere as well.
King Sorrow.
Pat loved it. Yeah, book chat with Pat.
I was not expecting Pat to love it.
No, she did a buddy read, and she's like, "This is really good." She goes, "It's a 900-page book," and she goes, "I hadn't planned on finishing that quick," and so everybody loves that one.
I've got it on audio for my library. I'm just waiting to read it. It's just sitting there once I get time, but it's a 900-page book, and then whenever you have 1,100-page books that you got to read, it takes time.
Yeah.
So I'll eventually get to it because I wanted to. I actually got it from my library and read like the first 20-ish pages, and I was like, I don't have time to read 900 right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to have to take it back. So I did, and I'll get to it at some point this year. I've never read any Joe Hill, but he's got probably 4 books that I'm really interested in, like Nosferatu and what is it, The Fireman maybe, and then
Horns. Did he?
Horns? Yeah, that's the main one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Horns, and then I think there's one more that besides King Sorrow, of course, but those are interesting. And I guess like father, like son. Apparently, he's really dang good too.
Yeah.
But we will see. Well, do we have anything else, or?
I don't think I got nothing.
Okay. Well, we will go, and like we said, planning on the beginning of April on Bryan's channel will be book 2, the drawing of the 3. So if you want to read along with us, go ahead and continue. And it is definitely, it's probably 200 pages longer, 100 pages longer probably.
I'll just say, the one thing I will say isn't really a spoiler. It's just be prepared for a real shift in tone.
Okay.
That's not necessarily it's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a lot of fun, but it is different. So I think it kind of comes as a shock to a lot of people, but
okay.
Just want to throw that out there. So
that sounds good. You got anything else, Scott?
Nothing.
All right. Well, we will end this stream of The Dark Tower Book 1, The Gunslinger, and continue on with Book 2 in a couple months. So see y'all then.
Good night, everybody.